Now we're going to take a look at the Kimura roll from half guard bottom. A lot of people like to lock up that Kimura grip or the T grip. They like to threaten the submission, but just like everything else, if you have options off of that grip, it can really increase both your submissions and your sweeps. I got caught in here with Patrick, and yet again, he beat me to the underhook. I always want the underhook, but he beat me to it. So I'm blocking that bicep. I'm going to bring my hand around. I'm going to frame at the face. Okay? Again, I want to get the underhook, but maybe I've been trying to get the underhook and I can't get it. I'm going to take this hand on the bicep. I'm going to start to slide it down to the wrist. So I was at bicep, frame the face. While framing the face, control the wrist. Now I'm just going to straighten this arm out. That's the easiest way to get that grip from here. But he doesn't want me to Kimura him. What's the most common defense, Patrick? Awesome. He's grabbed on the inside of his thigh. So, I tug on it a couple of times. I want to finish him, but I can't do it. Okay, so from here, I'm going to start looking at my reversal. Whether or not he's cleared my legs on his own or I let him out, depends. How many times I've finished him, how many times he's been rolled, okay? So from here, I'm going to keep a good tight grip. I'm going to open my legs. I'm going to entice him to pass. When he starts to pass, the biggest, most important part of this is that I bury my head as far as I can under his hips. What that means is when he starts to clear my hips, I'm going to bring my feet up here, walk them towards north-south, and bring my head and bury it as deep as I can underneath, okay? At the same time as I do that, I have to be wary of the armbar. Back, St. Pierre versus Matt. What was that Matt guy's name? Hughes versus Matt Hughes. He got far side armbar. It was awesome. You don't want that to happen to you, and we can defend against that very easily. And the way that we defend against that is when I bring my head underneath this arm that's on the bottom, I'm going to push it into his hip, all right? When I push that elbow into his hip, it brings this elbow towards the floor, and if this elbow's on the floor, then I can't get armbar. Very important tip, okay? So I'm going to start to go, he starts to go, I'm going to bury my head all the way underneath him. Now from here is where I'm talking about pushing with that elbow. If I leave this elbow exposed, I'm going to get armbar. I bury my head, I'm going to push with my elbow, and he's going to go over. When he goes over, I still have that Kimura grip. I want to keep pushing him up on his side, and I want to come to that Kimura position. Blocking that bicep, I wanted the underhook, I didn't get it. So I'm going to bring that hand around. Maybe I can't get it this way. I'll snake it in front of his face. Awesome. I start to move my hand down. Remember, I'm going to push and straighten this hand off. Boom, I sit up and control. Nice and tight. Make him think you're going to rip that arm off, because we might, okay? Now, I'm going to bring that leg off. When he starts to pass, remember that I'm going to lead with my head between his legs. So he starts to pass, boom, I bring my head underneath him. From here, I'm going to push with that elbow, bridge him over. I'm on top, I'm pushing into him. Nice and easy into that Kimura position. I've got that bicep locked. I've got my half guard. It doesn't matter if you triangle the legs or you just squeeze with the knees here. This hand's going to come across. I'm going to frame, and now I'm going to control that wrist. If you've noticed from the other reps, I like to arch my back to make sure that my arm is straight. Don't try to push his arm away. That takes a lot of strength. Arch, get control, slide over, take that T grip on that hand. From here, I'm going to open up. Now remember, when I open, he starts to pass. I'm going to start walking these legs away and my head underneath. Once I get to this position here, that's when I'm going to roll my elbows. I need to switch that so that I don't get armbarred and embarrassed. Now from here, I'm going to push, drive with my elbow. I'm going to push him over. When I take him over, all the way up on top, into that Kimura position, nice and tight control in that arm. More than anything, the timing is important with it. When your opponent starts to move, that's when you bury your head and roll them over. The faster that they try to pass, the more success you're going to have.